So today we're going to be taking a look at Figrin, Deanne, and the Modal nodes from the Mos Eisley Cantina and A New Hope. An interesting story about this pack, or maybe not this pack in particular, but I've been holding off on the Cantina Bith set for, there's one that came out around 2006, 2007, and I recall seeing it at Walmart at the time, and I thought, oh man, I really want to get this. But at the time I just didn't. And it's one of those sets that I've always really wanted, and that particular set at the time I think still holds up really good today. But it's been 16, 17 years now, and I just didn't get around to getting it. But then when Hasbro announced they were going to be releasing this set, I decided that yes, this is the one I should get. I'm not sure what the going rate of that pack from 2006, 2007 is at this point. I don't think it's terribly expensive, but it might be a little bit more compared to this one. So this set retails for, I think it was 80 something. I know I paid 102 overall for the whole set, but it's still pretty expensive for the 7 action figures that we get here. But overall, it's a really nice set. I'm glad I own it, and I'm glad 16, 17 years later, after wanting to have the Cantina Bith set in my collection for this many years now, I finally have it. So first, let's take a look at the package here. So Hasbro is kind of treating this like the Troop Builder set. This box here is a lot longer than the normal Troop Builder set, obviously. It has 7 action figures. And each of these 7 featured on the package are all right here as well. Really like the art on this. Of course, the name of the band there. Interesting thing, Hasbro started putting this plastic-free packaging logo on their boxes now. Or the vintage collection, and same thing on the back. But yeah, that's the package. So now let's take a look at the action figures. So each action figure is the same exact thing as far as I can tell. I've looked each one over and I can't seem to find any difference between any of them. But we'll go through each one anyway, because obviously each one has a unique instrument about them. But we'll take a look at this one in particular first. So as you can tell, super articulated. As far as I know, I believe this is, he is reusing some parts. His waist down is reusing the Death Star gunner from the Rogue One action figure. I believe his torso, obviously his hands, maybe his arms, and obviously his head are all new parts though. Some people have complained about the legs here, reusing the Death Star gunner, because it's not totally accurate to what the Biths actually wear in the movie. And you can see it has some of the pockets on here, which from my understanding and looking back at some of the scenes is not totally accurate at all. I don't think the Biths had any pockets on their pants at all. But it's not that big of a deal. It blends in just fine, I think. Very nice detailing in his head there. I do have a Darth Tenebris reviewed on my channel from years ago at this point, and it is interesting comparing the Bith's head from then to now. Obviously that one's using an older sculpt, and this is a newer one, and the paint looks really nice on it. I like how it turned out. Very interesting looking creature. And I especially like how they did the mouth. Obviously he has that gaping O look to him, and then you can actually put his instrument in his mouth there to simulate like he's playing it. Obviously on the package here, he's the one in the middle right there. At first I didn't know what this instrument was at all, and I treated it like it was a microphone, so I figured I'll treat him like he's the vocalist. So for the articulation, it is super articulated. He has the ball joint neck there. Pretty good range of motion for what it is. You're not really going to need him in too many poses anyway. Hinged shoulders, hinged elbows, hinged wrists. This one goes up and down, and this one goes up and down as well. Hinged torso, pretty good range of motion. Then hinged hips, swivel thigh, hinged knees, and hinged ankles as well. No rocker ankles, which I actually kind of welcome at this point because I'm getting sick of the rocker ankles where the hole in their foot is just too small for a peg. And I know some people say you gotta cut the peg and on the stand and then maybe it'll fit, but a lot of the samples I have, the hole is just plain too small and you can't drill in a larger hole in his foot because you'll just go right through it. So it is kind of welcoming at this stage in the game that I can actually put stands on my action figures and they work. And quite frankly, not every action figure needs rocker ankles anyway. I don't think it would, especially for this set, it would really do much for them. There's only so many poses you really need to get them in. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about the action figure itself. Nice detailing, very basic colors. And that's his particular instrument right there. Like I said, we'll take a look at the rest of these. The action figures are all the same though. We're mostly looking at the instruments here. I assume this is basically the equivalent like the tuba. And you can get them to hold it pretty well. Of course, put the piece in his mouth there. Very nice detailing in that. And it fits around him really well. So we have two that are the same here. Very interesting how they sculpted that piece. It turned out really nice. Not really sure what this would be the equivalent to. Some type of horn, I suppose. It has nice detailing in it. The paint looks really good. And he holds it really nice. And as you can see in the thumbnail there, this is the particular one I messed with the super articulation. You can get him in a kind of like he's in a rocking out pose if you work with it a little bit. Like so there, and he looks really good. Nice having that extra posability. And of course, like I said, there's two of these. This is the other one. Same exact thing as far as I could tell. Same instrument. I will point out, I really like how glossy those eyes look on them. Really see how that black paint has that shine to it. And we'll take a look at this guy in the back here. Somewhat similar of an instrument, but a little different. I kind of treat this like it's extra long flute, I guess. You can't really get these guys to hold their instruments like they are playing a flute. That's about the best you can really get. Still looks really nice. Really like that detailing in this one especially. Then for some of the unique ones, so I assume this is supposed to be the equivalent like the keyboardist or the drummer. And this piece looks really good. He sits on it very nicely as well. It's not something where, oh, I can't get him to sit down at all, or he doesn't fit, or he falls off a lot or anything. Nope, I haven't had any of those problems at all. It's nicely sculpted, nicely detailed. Really like how they did this. He has his pedals there. fits on it like so. Then for the last but not least of this set, we have what I would assume is the equivalent of like the xylophonist, which is pretty nice, but the only problem I have with it is obviously he can't hold his he can't really hold his pieces very well. His hands are a little too big, and the grip he has is just a little too large for it. You can't get it if you work with it for a while, but it's kind of fragile. And there's his, like I said, what I assume is basically the equivalent of like the xylophone. Nice sculpting in this. So from my understanding, one of the previous release Cantina band sets, there was another instrument that did not come with this particular set. I have read about that on the internet. I'm not sure exactly what piece it is, but if you're very particular about your sets like that, then yes, this set technically is missing one instrument from the scene we saw in Mos Eisley. Not really a big deal. It's been a little while since I've looked at it, but whatever piece it was, I don't think it was a extremely significant one. Maybe it was like another horn or something like that. But the good thing about that too is you can go back in time and get one of the sets from the past if it bothers you that much. So would I recommend this set for your collection? I definitely would. I think it's one of the best things that Hasbro's released within the last year, honestly. If I know some people still prefer the older sets, and I think that's fine too. If, again, the set I was talking about at the beginning, 16, 17 years ago, I still think, thinking back on that and looking at the pictures of it now, I still think it holds up really good in a lot of ways compared to this one. Some people are particular about this, reusing the Death Star gunner's legs. They think that's no good. I don't think it's that big of a deal personally, but overall, I think it just depends whichever set you want. I think the Power of the Force days, there was a set that came out as well, and I think that set that came out in 2006, 2007 may have built off of that a little bit. So it all just depends on your personal preference, but given that at the time of this video at least, this set is the current thing, it's still in, you can get it for retail price. It is exclusive to Hasbro Pulse. I don't think it's gone up on Shop Disney Plus at this time. And of course eBay, the way prices are these days, on eBay you can get it for fairly close to retail price, at least at the time of this video. So given those circumstances, I would highly recommend running out and getting this one if you've been interested in having this for your collection for some time now. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. There will be plenty more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate all the support up to this point. And check out the Instagram link in the description as well. There will be more content on that here pretty soon. I'll get around to it. I do have some plans for it. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching.